Okay, part 2 of the video, breaking down this article. We're going to pick up with Maggie, working class hero, working class body. Eastwood presents an image of a working class woman convinced that class is something to be overcome. Is class something to overcome? I was born pretty poor. Not that we knew it. And I'm not complaining, guys, but Dad's the only one who worked. There were 9 kids. Did I want to, when I became an adult, be a little more stable, give my kids just maybe a little bit more? I did. Is that a bad thing? Maggie lacks a critical class consciousness, but she does have a general knowledge that she grew up poor, a hillbilly, white trash. She knows the world despises her by virtue of her Appalachian poverty, and indeed, she despises these hillbilly roots. We met her family. I think I would despise my roots too. Maggie comes off as sensible in part because she has bought into her own class mythology. She's got enough sense to know the limitations of her class, even while fighting to transcend those limits. Her determination to succeed in the world of boxing stems not only from her love of sport, but also from her desire to avoid a working class life and a working class body. Now, this is me. My gosh, my paper wants to move all over. I disagree with this. I don't think she's trying to avoid a working class life or a working class body. I think she's embracing it. I do think she wants to avoid becoming her mother and becoming the rest of her family. And I think her one connection to her family, her dad, is now dead and gone. But I completely disagree with this. I would argue, in fact, that this girl works gosh darn hard to make herself what she wants to be. Without boxing, Maggie explains, she can expect a life of Oreos and a deep fryer. Ooh, she says that of her mother. I don't know that that's what she wants. Therefore, the vehicle for her mobility up and away from her roots is her body. So we have great many examples of successful athletes who have used their skill, their body, to succeed. Since when is that a bad thing? But that's my thinking. You figure out what you think. Even as the body is a vehicle, the body is something Maggie seems to run from. I don't think it's fair to say she runs from her body. Does she want to make it stronger so she can be a better boxer? Yeah, but I don't think she ever denies her body. The denial or making unconscious of the body is another major and connected movement of the movie, even as characters and audience alike are so highly conscious of the movie's bodies. Maggie denies her girlness. Does she deny her girlness? And has to. She wants to work with Frankie, and he says he doesn't train girls. Does that have more to do with Frankie than with Maggie, though? He constantly reminds her not to act like one. That's old school Frankie. I don't think that has anything to do with Maggie. Maggie also denies her body through the sport itself, which is the most Cartesian of all sports in this cinematic conception. Don't worry about that. Cartesian is philosophy. We're going to skip that. We learn that boxing is an unnatural act. Thank you, Scrap. Everything is backwards, left is right. You have to step into the pain. Frankie helps her deny her body because it is his job to patch it up when it seems about to explode from the punishment it takes in the ring. Is that denying her body? Wouldn't he be doing that for males and females? I wonder about that. His patching addresses the leakiness of the feminine, the vulnerable body. Leakiness of the feminine. I'm really starting not to like these authors. I don't like to think of women as leaky. I don't think that Maggie was leaky. She broke her nose. She lost blood. Come on now. He has to be a wizard to do that. But this wizardry is absolutely necessary. When Maggie is finally injured, paralyzed, she can no longer escape her body, and Frankie can no longer patch her up. The solution to this problem, according to the logic of the twist ending and the logic of the entire narrative, is to end her life. I'm taking issue with this too. The logic of the entire narrative is just story. I know you guys know that. So the logic of the entire movie was to end her life. I think Maggie chose to escape despite the fact Frankie didn't want her to. That was her personal choice. Is the movie pushing an overall agenda that if anybody ends up in Maggie's situation, a quadriplegic, they should take their own life? Is that the overall message? I'm not so sure, but you make your own call. In other words, Maggie's ascendance out of the trailer park and her denial of her gendered and classed body align with questions of ability and disability even before she is disabled in the movie's penultimate movement. In a sense, before being disabled by a spinal injury, she's already disabled by her gender and her class. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Okay, so you've got to make a call about that. I don't think anybody, male, female, whatever, is disabled by their gender. Can you be disabled by your class? I don't think it's disabled. Can it be a challenge? Might you have certain things you have to overcome? Sure, but I wouldn't change anything about my life and what it taught me. I don't know that Maggie would either. Before returning to a discussion of Maggie and Frankie, it is useful to look at two other bodies. Okay, we're actually going to skip this too. Because now we're moving into Maggie's mother, and I'm going to let you skip this. Okay, I'm going to end this second video here, and we'll pick up with the next part. Uno momento.